Hi, I'm Ron Jackson with Acoustic Guitar Magazine. Today we're going to speak about acoustic soul grooves, and we're going to be doing a few lessons about that. That groove I just played for you was like a kind of a Bill Withers Use Me kind of groove. Now Bill Withers was one of the forefathers of what we call acoustic soul, with songs like Use Me and Lovely Day. And then soon after that, people like Ben Harper started taking songs like Sexual Healing from Marvin Gaye and making up cool renditions of that. But the biggest influence was, and the person that put it on the map was a lady named India Ari. In 2001, she came out with a song called Brown Skin on the record that was called Acoustic Soul. So acoustic soul is actually all about groove, especially with your right hand. And we're going to be talking about that today. So let's get started, okay? Now, we're going to be using 3 chords today, mainly the E chord, which is this, the D chord, and the A chord. What's cool about grooves like this, that most of the grooves on these songs only have 2 or 3, 4 chords. So it's easy to play some of these songs and concentrate on the groove. So I suggest that you review these chords before you look at my lessons, which are called Ron's Grooves, okay, that I made up for you guys. And you review these chords and you're able to switch between these chords without having any problems. If you have any problems switching, though, you could just stay on one chord and groove on one chord, you know, like that, you know, just groove, okay? So I suggest practicing these exercises with a drum machine or a metronome, okay? You can download an app for it. There's an app called Metronome online. I like to use a little machine metronome called a Boss DB90 drum machine here, okay, or metronome we call it. And I told on the lesson I say to have it set at 60 to 70. Let's have it set to 60 because 70 is kind of fast, but 60 is not too slow, okay? And I have it set to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Most metronomes just hit a click, okay, but on the one on mine is the first beat of each measure, which we're going to be doing on my 4 examples coming up. So I suggest that you start strumming along with this metronome so you get used to it. Let's try that for a second. She would go 1, 2, match your pick to each click. I got to really concentrate to hear it because my guitar is pretty loud in front of me. See that? Once you get comfortable with that, you could start practicing using a pick or your fingers with the strums. I suggest using a pick about this size, okay, the standard pick like this, and in a medium tension to practice all these exercises with. Now, practicing with a pick will actually save your nails too, okay? So I usually hit the pick straight on and perpendicular to the strings like this, okay? Straight like this, okay? And what I do is I hold the pick with my thumb and first finger, nice and loose, but not so loose that it falls out, but not too tight, so you have tension, okay? And that's called sleepy hand, actually. So your hand's nice and relaxed. And I have my middle, ring, and pinky finger sticking out, so it's nice and loose like this. You see that? Nice and loose. Okay, so now, what I'd like to have you do is go to these exercises once you get this together. What I suggest you do before that also is try to sweep the pick across the string smoothly, like this. So you get used to sweeping across the strings nice and smooth, like you're combing your hair, okay? That way your hand's nice and relaxed when you're strumming. So let's get ready and groove here. Let's start these exercises up. Now, I would practice these exercises one bar at a time and then put both bars together once you get it together, okay? Like I said before, if you're having problems switching, just play one chord. So let's do example number 1. Example number 1, you're actually strumming all downstrokes on each chord, going from E to D to A in the second bar, okay? And remember, the strumming hand is known as the timekeeper in R&B and jazz and funk and soul and acoustic soul, okay? So we're going to play with the metronome right now. Let's try example number 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. That was example number 1. Now, you notice I kept the downstrokes going with each chord and trying to really lock in with that metronome. That's very important. And it's very important to almost have the metronome louder than yourself so you can really lock in with that groove, okay? Now, once you feel comfortable with that, let's go to number 2. In number 2, we remove the strums on 2 and 4, but you'll strum on every click in the air going down instead, okay, like this. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're actually holding the notes as half notes in this exercise, okay? So in the air, while the 2 beats are going, you hit the down beat, which is 1, and then the second beat you're hitting in the air, so that mimics keeping your time, okay, with your right hand, which is like a metronome, okay? So let's try example number 2 and see what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's example number 2.